if you are trying to use AI just to make your people more productive in general, you can get a corporate instance of ChatGPT or Copilot, and then use that to answer basic questions about the business. When you start to look at loading your data from a business perspective into AI, that's a different conversation. So if you want to start taking your business intelligence and your data and loading it into an AI instance, you've got to look at the security ramifications of that before you do it. So for example, Azure AI is a dedicated instance of an AI engine where you can take all your company information, load it into that, and then set permissions so that, it can be restricted to who can get what answer and how it's going to happen, and you're not training the AI models on your data, which can be very dangerous. So they put a lot of precautions in place since this, initial problem happened. It's still not there yet. So for example, if you drop AI into your organization, like with Copilot and Teams, for example, you've got to do a very good audit of your documents and permissions before you do that, because what'll happen is AI will just gather all the information in your environment, it'll index it all, and then it'll present its answers to employees. But the problem is, if you have a payroll file that doesn't have any permissions on it, it's going to, if I ask what is Bob's salary, it will provide that information to me. It doesn't know any better. It's just a computer, right? So you've got to be very mindful of that. So one of the approaches that most people are taking today is, put a dedicated instance up that's self-contained, that doesn't train the model, that's only for me, and then load the appropriate information in it that I want to use AI for, and then start there. I would not use a public AI engine and connect it to my data or information, nor would I, if I'm going to use ChatGPT, even in a corporate setting, I wouldn't, load my information into it and ask it for an answer. I would simply ask general questions or put broad statements in and then let it refine the data. I wouldn't, do anything very specific, like in an IT, for example. I'm not going to take my customers' switch and route information, their network topology, load it into ChatGPT and say, write me a design specification for this. I mean, granted, would that be faster and do that? Sure, but that's a great example of why you need a dedicated instance for that versus doing it in a public environment.